Hello, my name is Adam Winrich, and this video is about whip swinging. That's not swinging from a whip, it's being conscious of how much energy it takes to swing your whip through the air and focusing on the swing of the whip as much as focusing on going for the crack with the whip. Shout out to my brand new supporter on Patreon, Holden. Thanks so much for your support. This video goes out to you. If you want to subscribe to my Patreon, you can do it for as little as $1 a month, or be super cool, do $5 a month. I'll put a link in the description. So back to whip swinging. So the whip I have here is a 10-foot kangaroo bull whip I just bought from Christ King. It's lead loaded. Chris has been making whips a long time. And when I'm doing this overhead crack and I want to look like it's effortless, really what I'm focusing on is swinging the whip with just enough force to get it extended all the way in the air. That's how I'm going to have control of the whip, and by using that minimum force to swing it through the air, I can make all my cracks look very easy. I'm sure many of you, if you're beginner whip crackers and you had a 10-foot lead-loaded bull whip, you would just want to do it as hard as possible, and you want to have cracks that leave your ears ringing and give you tinnitus. But if you start off with those cracks right away, you're probably going to make a mistake and hit yourself really bad. I think a lot of people assume that I have hurt myself many times with whips, but the thing is when I'm out practicing, I'm just focusing on swinging the whip just enough to get it all the way extended in the air. I'm not doing every crack like a wild man, swinging it and trying to go for the loudest crack. If I did that all the time, I'd have very bad technique and I would hurt myself. I'm just focusing on swinging the whip enough to get it up in the air, all the way extended. Especially with a cattleman's crack like this, it's important, excuse me, that I don't just lift it up sloppily and bam, slam it down. You see how the whip didn't get extended all the way in the air? Well, it's super hard to control it if you don't have it extended all the way in there. You can't really know where it is. That's why I make sure to lift it all the way up, let it get all the way behind me, and then bring it down nice and easy with about the same speed as it took to get it all the way extended in the air. So this black bull whip might be difficult to see, so I'm going to crack a few different whips that I have out here. Let's see, we'll start out shorter. Here's a 5-foot performance hybrid whip. I think this is an excellent beginner whip to have, and you can see I'm doing the same thing. I'm just swinging around. It feels kind of dainty after cracking a lead-loaded 10-foot bull whip, and then just go for the crack. Super light, controlled motions, just enough energy to swing it straight all the way in the air. Same thing with the cattleman's crack. I'm putting in just enough energy to get it all the way up in the air, and then that can make my crack, or my going for my cracks, look effortless. And it's very important to get used to this technique, especially when you're picking up new whips. Get used to putting in just enough energy to get the whip extended all the way in the air. It stops you from hurting yourself, reduces damage on the whip from cracking it too hard, and it's a good way to start out and develop proper technique. And so you'll move on to a 6-foot 275 cord stock whip. I use these a lot for 4 corners tricks. So right now I'm just doing slow figure 8, and you can see when I'm swinging it in the air, I'm not moving very fast, but it's still getting all the way extended. And that same thing applies when going for a fast figure 8. So I'm going to swing it up, swing up. And then once I get used to that, if I want to put a little bit more effort into it, I can, but I've already built proper technique by practicing swinging it just enough to get it all the way in the air. So I got a couple more whips to crack. Here's a 10-foot stock whip that I made a few years ago. This one's actually a little bit heavier than the 10-foot bull whip, so I can tell I've got to put a little bit more effort into making sure it's extended all the way in the air. And also, if I'm going for a loud crack with this one, I actually don't need the whole setup swing to be very fast. I can do some normal, easy setup swing, change direction, and then just put a little extra speed at the end to make it louder. And the last one I'll crack, this is another whip I got this week. This is from Alexander Jacob. He's from the UK, but right now he lives in Spain, so I can finally say I have a high quality kangaroo bullwhip from Spain. This one's also lead loaded with a flexible handle, about 7.5 foot long. He makes an excellent whip, though sometimes it can be hard to get whips from him. So the whole principle of all of this is just swing it just enough, get the whip all the way extended in the air. I hope this tip helps you. Again, the tip is good whip cracking comes from good whip swinging, or good whip swinging helps develop good whip cracking. So when you're out there practicing with your whip, just focus on how much energy it takes to get the whip all the way extended in the air, and just move at that speed. Again, a shout out to Holden for subscribing to my Patreon. Thank you so much. And shout out to some other guy from the UK who subscribed to my Patreon for 45 minutes and cancels his subscription because he changed his mind. Thanks for that too. I didn't actually get any money from that guy because they bill once a month. Anyway, my name is Adam Winrich. Thanks for watching.